Here we go. Welcome to the Tony Scott Internet Show. What's going on? Middle of the week. Hump day. Yeah, yes. So how's your world? Man, I celebrate today because today I get my first paycheck in 7 months. That feels good, man. Feels good. Feels good, man. Yes. God is good. You know what I'm saying? I cannot begin to tell you. I was talking to God this morning, and I was saying, you know what? I know that you have greatness for me. I know you do. And I know I haven't gotten there yet. Yeah, I've been in radio over 30 years, and yeah, I finished a 26-year run at a radio station and all that, a successful run, I must say myself. But I know there's more. There's more for me to do. And I know you're going to let me have it when you feel like it's time. I'm just letting you know, God, that I feel like it's time, but I know it's up to you. I'm ready, though. I'm ready to be your soldier. I'm ready to do great things through you. I was telling him that this morning, and when I said that, after I got done, I felt like, you know what? I feel good today, man. And I didn't even realize I was getting a paycheck today. My wife reminded me, this is your first paycheck in 7 months today, right? I said, oh, okay. I thought that was yesterday. But, I guess it wasn't yesterday. It was today. It is today. Okay, good. So there you go, right? My daughter had a speech she had to give yesterday in her class in high school. She nailed it. She was excited. I was so happy for her. I couldn't wait for her to get home yesterday to tell me all about it. She did that. Olivia's headed toward finals. She told me she misses home cooked meals so much she can't wait to get home. I'm like, I can't wait to get you home. I love it when my kids are all at home. I love it even more when my oldest daughter, AJ, when she comes to visit. I love it then all my girls are here. And I love that. But that doesn't happen that often, but I know it'll happen hopefully again very soon. She got a new car. I told her, I said, hey, now you can come take a road trip. I've taken road trips to you. You can come take a road trip to me. So how about that? Mom is back home today. She spent a few weeks in California with my sister, so she's back home and got home safe and sound. Very good, very good, very good. What else? The Rams tomorrow night will be playing the Arizona Cardinals on NFL Thursday Night Football. And, of course, I don't have the NFL Network. I cut it out of my budget. But I understand the NFL has this cool thing, though. I think it's a home game. And if it's a home game, then they have to make it available on local television. And usually when that's happened, the Rams are like on Channel 11 or something like that. So locally, but we'll see. But I think it's going to be shown locally if you don't have NFL Network, which I think is great. Great. And the blackout thing, I think that's gone away, right? The NFL was like, we gave y'all this 30-something years ago to help fill seats because, the NFL was starting out and, you guys needed to put butts in seats. And so we blacked out games for home games for people. If you didn't want to go, you couldn't see the game. Well, now you guys are making money hand over fist. Y'all don't need this rule anymore, so we're going to take it away. Which also is a cool thing because the NFL does make money hand over fist. They make an obscene amount of money. They really do. Speaking of the NFL, Cam Newton was in a car wreck and he's out of the hospital. At first, they said he was not injured. Then it turns out he was injured. I don't know exactly what the deal is on that, but whatever it is, I hope he's well soon. And while we're talking about the NFL and the Rams, and of course Ferguson, wide receiver Kenny Britt is the one apparently who the hands up protest the Rams did a couple weeks ago was apparently his idea. And there's been this kind of like this thing going around on the internet where the police chief of the St. Louis County Police says that the NFL, that the Rams, let's be clear, the Rams apologized. And the Rams said, nah, we never apologized. We just said we kind of regret if you guys felt bad about it, So then the St. Louis Police Department tweets the definition of apologize. It has the word regret in it. So now it's down to third grade level now, right? The NFL was like, we don't, what else? We ain't got time for this, man. Ain't nobody got time for this. Stop it. So that's where we are with that. But apparently it was Kenny Britt's idea. And to Kenny Britt, I say, well done, sir. The Ferguson protesters were runner-ups to Time Magazine's Person of the Year for 2014. I don't know when Time Magazine's Person of the Year became like a real, like, important thing. I don't remember when that happened, but apparently it's like a big deal. They were runner-up to the Ebola fighters. They were named Time's Person of the Year because they're the ones who answered the call, is what Time Magazine said on their website. Other folks considered for the Time Person of the Year were Vladimir Putin and Roger Goodell. I don't know why. Magazine readers voted Indian Prime Minister Modi to receive the title. But Time's editor's decision is based on what they want to base it on. It's their magazine. They get to pick. I don't know why they do that. Anytime I think some kind of company says, well, a contest when you get to pick the winner, yeah, it's never the case. Come on, man. We fall for it every time, though, don't we? Every stinking time we fall for it. In Phoenix, the police officer who shot and killed an unarmed black man has been identified. His name is Mark Ryan. He's a 7-year veteran of the police department. And he is the officer who shot the Romaine Brisbane, who was 34. It was a struggle, and he shot Brisbane. And people are wondering why. How do you struggle? How do you struggle with an unarmed man if you're a cop? Why aren't you calling for backup? Why did you chase him? There are a lot of questions here that people want to know. What's the deal on that? But you know what? We've talked about that already. I'm moving on. But I will tell you that 28-year-old Akai Gurley. Remember him? Akai Gurley was also someone who was shot by an officer. And apparently, word has come out that when he shot the young man, Mr. Gurley, that apparently this officer decided to text his union rep. He texted his union rep. Man, we got it backwards, man. We got some real problems with police. Now, you can hide and say police do a fine job, and they do. By and far, police do a great job. But, man, it's time to thin the herd. It's time, man. It's time for psych evaluations. It's time to get some of these folks off the job. We got to get guns out of some people's hands. I'm not talking about, your right to bear arms. I'm talking about people who are licensed to protect and serve who have no business protecting and serving. And that may go for former presidents, too. Did you hear about the Senate Select Committee on Intelligence? They released this report on CIA interrogation practices, claiming brutal techniques the agency used on detainees in the wake of the 9/11 attacks were not effective. I'm talking about everything from rectal rehydration, which basically means they stuck a tube up somebody's butt. A lunch tray is what they called it. Hummus, pasta with sauce, raisins, and nuts were pureed and then rectally infused. Wow. And one CIA officer noted, we were impressed with the ancillary effectiveness of rectal infusion. Some interrogators, they were letting people interrogate who had some anger management issues that were documented. Some who admitted to sexual assault, not of detainees necessarily, but the people were interrogating who had no business interrogating. They were putting detainees in coffins. One detainee spent 266 hours in a large confinement box that looked like a coffin. He spent an additional 29 hours in an even smaller box, 21 inches wide, 2.5 feet deep, and 2.5 feet tall. Wow. The waterboarding kept up going. What else? Naked detainees iced with ice water. Some were kept awake for 138 and a half hours, 6 days without any sleep. 6 days without any sleep, you'll admit to anything. This is our government. Now, people are saying that George Bush, the second Bush president, the one that President Obama replaced when the election was over. Not that, you know what I'm saying. Him and Dick Cheney need to be prosecuted for their role in this. That'll never happen. That will never happen. With a Republican-controlled Senate and Congress and House coming up, there's no way that anybody will ever go for that. That's never going to happen. So we need to just, concentrate on something. Heads do need to roll. Military brass heads need to roll. The president and the vice president, should they be prosecuted? I would like more information before I make that decision. My emotions tell me yes, but that's never going to happen. So we just need to put our sights somewhere else. We need to put our sights on regarding this at another spot, because that ain't going to happen. I mean, let's be real. Let's be realistic about things. There are some things in this world that are not going to happen. Some things need to change. That is very apparent if you've been paying attention to what's going on in this country. Very apparent. But, let's see. Entertainment-wise, David Letterman's last show will be May 20th. He told folks he was retiring after over 30 years doing late-night TV. And Stephen Colbert, this is the interesting thing, is Stephen Colbert is actually a character that Stephen Colbert created. Now, Stephen Colbert is going to replace David Letterman. I don't think Stephen Colbert is. Do you follow what I'm saying here? Stephen Colbert is a character that Stephen Colbert created. So it'll be interesting to see how he does this. I'm not saying that he can't. I'm just saying it'll be interesting to see how he does it, because clearly he can do it. He's a very talented man. But we shall see. May 20th is Letterman's last day, but they haven't said when Stephen Colbert/Colbert's first day will be. They haven't mentioned that at all. A website that specializes in matching women with wealthy older men is trying to get Portia Williams on as a spokesperson. She was approached by SugarDaddyForMe.com, which offered to create a new website called Portia'sSugarBabies.com, recruiting women like her who have their sights set on meeting sugar daddies. Don't sleep. SugarDaddyForMe.com has 4.5 million members. So Portia would have a platform for her own brand, and she get to keep like half the profits, and all she got to do is say, yes, I'll do that. The question is, would you do that? If you were Portia Stewart, would you do that? Because that can harm her brand, whatever her brand is. I don't really follow her. I know she's a very pretty lady, and apparently she has some abilities to do something. Otherwise, we wouldn't be having this conversation, and SugarDaddyForMe.com wouldn't even be talking to her. So apparently they see something. Portia said to be thinking about the idea. If you were Portia, would you do this? Big picture, I don't think I would. I think that would harm me down the road. If you wanted to be taken serious about anything, I think that those kinds of things you need to stay away from. Those things that we as people are generally skeptical about. When Dionne Warwick did the Psychic Network thing years ago, I think that hurt her credibility. I do. That's just my opinion. I just think that, it just hurt her, because a lot of people are very skeptical of psychics, mediums, things like that. They don't necessarily believe in them. They'll listen to them if they're giving them a reading because they like to hear what they have to say. But I think we're kind of skeptical in general about people like that. A very good friend of mine who was on my show for many years was a psychic. And I adored her. I thought she was great. She would tell me things. Sometimes it happened, sometimes it didn't. But when you're a psychic and you make a prediction, there's a 50% chance you're going to be right. And there's a 50% chance you're going to be wrong. So that's how that goes. But Portia says she's thinking about it. Or as they say, she's noodling. She's noodling on the idea. Portia right now is on Dish Nation. Did you know Dish Nation was actually Ricky Smiley's show? Did you know that? Proof. Well, he's on the show, but it's actually like his creation, if I'm not mistaken. And I think that's great. Very good. Is she still on there? I know she was on there for a while. I haven't watched it in a long time. Rumor has it that there's marriage trouble for Kerry Washington. Apparently, her and her husband, he's got an ethnic name, an African name, and I don't want to mess it up. And I'm going to try it. Nnamdi Asomugha, I think, it may be how you say it. But she doesn't talk about her marriage much. She doesn't talk about her daughter Isabel much. And they say they're living separate lives. I didn't know when she married this young man. The only thing I know about him, he played NFL football for a few years. I don't know anything else about him. I'm sure he's a fine man. But when she got married, I didn't even know she was dating anybody. Not that she has to check in with me, but I didn't know. And she never talks about him, and they apparently don't spend a lot of time together, and, that can be a problem. For some. For others, Dolly Parton's been married to her husband, Carl Dean, for almost 50 years, and no one even knows what he looks like. No one really knows what he looks like. It's just one of the, everybody handles their marriage very differently. And then there's Halle Berry. Halle Berry took her daughter Nala's father, Gabriel Aubrey, who's like a male model, to court, claiming that he changed her look because he doesn't want her looking black. So he bleached and straightened her hair, Nala's hair. Gabriel says that Halle Berry is making a big deal out of nothing, because Nala's hair was straightened with a blow dryer, and he says the bleaching thing was caused by the chlorine in the swimming pool. Halle Berry says, no. She had receipts. I don't know how she got receipts. She had receipts proving that Gabriel Aubrey was responsible for the bleaching and straightening. In other words, he paid someone to do this to the child's hair. How old is she? 6 years old. Apparently Halle Berry had Nala's brush analyzed by a lab who confirmed extensive damage, repeated exposure to gentle bleaching treatments, is what experts have said. So, much ado about nothing. Well, I have a problem with anybody bleaching a 6-year-old's hair. The straightening of the hair, yeah, that's it, I don't know about all that, but bleaching a 6-year-old's hair is a little excessive for me. What his motive was it because he doesn't want his daughter to look black? Well, you know what? If that's the case, sir, you're stupid. Because your daughter, at a minimum, looks biracial. She just does. Although, sometimes knowing that, one of the parents is of another race, sometimes we'll put that thought in your head. Well, I know her, I know him. They're biracial. The kids they got biracial kids. They're two different races. So maybe, but to me, she looks biracial. I don't know. Call me crazy. Call me kooky. I don't know. I told you yesterday about Earl Warren Hayes and the murder-suicide involving his reality star wife, Stephanie Mosley. They were found Monday inside their spot in L.A., in Fairfax. And apparently he had tried to reconcile before the murder-suicide. There was marijuana found at the scene. You know what? Marijuana is no longer an issue anymore, is it? To me, it's like if weed is not part of any story anymore because it's legal. It's not legal in every state, but if it's legal in one state, then whatever, Like in California, isn't weed legal in California? So if you got legalized weed in California, then weed is no longer part of a story. Even if it's, the legalization is for medical purposes, for all that's a really thin line between recreational and medical use. The people who need it for medical use get it for medical use. Everybody else is faking the funk and they're getting away with it. It's been going on that way for what? So weed is not part of the story. But as I told you yesterday, that apparently, allegedly, Stephanie Mosley had an affair with Trey Songz, and Earl never really got over that. He tried, but he couldn't. They did find the weed. They did find 10 pounds, which is like $40,000, I think, in money. And supposedly Floyd Mayweather was on a call with Earl Hayes, telling him he should divorce his wife because she was cheating on him all the time, having flings with singers and rappers. And that's when Earl lost it. He walked into the bathroom and just started shooting her. So apparently, Floyd allegedly was on a FaceTime call with Earl, And he's probably, and they're saying that he's the one who lit the fuse. Now, I don't know if that's true or not. If so, Floyd, come on, man. Really? I mean, you can't predict that someone's going to just lose it like that. But when you know of someone who's been tormented by their wives cheating with high-profile people, especially somebody like Trey Songz, and you're saying, man, you don't need her, man. Come on, man. You should divorce her, man. She's going to keep doing it. You know what they say? Do it once, do it again. You know, they always say that, man. You know how they always say that, man. Come on, buddy. Come on, man. And you're just throwing gas on that match. That one match. You're just throwing gas on there, you know. And that's the thing on that. I feel bad that that's actually turned as tragic as it has. It's pretty bad. Man. Black Media Scoop says that Ray J's manager Cash Jones went to Instagram to expose Young Berg for getting close is the relative term here, to Keisha Cole's nephew. He says he walked in on them in the studio in the middle of a moment and was disgusted. So, I don't even know who these people are, but apparently they're, I know who Ray J is. That's Brandy's little brother. But his manager, I never even heard the name, Cash, what's his name? Cash Jones? It's a cool name. I've heard of Cash Warren. That's Michael Warren's son who has babies with Jessica Alba. I've heard of that, but I haven't heard of Cash Jones. That is a cool name, though. But apparently he's kicking it. He was seen doing something with Keisha Cole's nephew. Whether that's true or not, I don't know. I'll be real honest. I don't care. Maybe I should edit this out because I'll leave it in. But I mean, it's all this is alleged. I don't know, man. Hollywood ain't Hollywood anymore because there's just too much access. Back in the day, don't get me wrong. Back in the day, foul things happened, right? Foul things happened back in the day. We found out about some of them. Through the years, we found out, about how the Dorothy Dandridge was married to one of Nicholas' brothers. He used to smack her around, We found out about these things many years later, what a whore President Kennedy was. The fact that Franklin Delano Roosevelt, our president, back in the 30s and stuff, he apparently was in a wheelchair, and back then most of us didn't even know that. So all that stuff was going on, but it was all kept under wraps, Where they knew certain Hollywood actors were gay. Rock Hudson married a woman to throw the trail off and stuff like that. But everybody knew he was gay. It just didn't get out. But see, now, because we have social media and we have so many tabloids and, the press, or they're vultures now, and, it's just, all this information gets out, and half of it is not even true. The Young Berg thing, I don't know. I don't care. I'm just saying. I'll leave it right here. I will tell you, I told you yesterday that I would have information about an event that I'm doing. Now, I know I'm doing it on the 19th, and I know it's going to be at a certain spot, but I'm waiting to get more information before I tell you about it. I'd love to have you come by and hang out. It's not going to be a late thing. It's going to be like from 5 to 9. And, once you come in, you're not required to stay the whole 4 hours. I am, but you're not. If you want to, that's fine. But if you want to come by, say hello, take a picture, have a drink, maybe dance. I don't know, whatever you want to do. I mean, and then you can leave in 30 minutes. You can leave, come in, say hi, Tony, turn around, walk back out. I mean, but I'll get you more information. I said I'd do it today, but I'm not ready to do it today. I'll get the information together, though. So thank you so much for listening. You can share it. It's so appreciated. Spread the word that Tony Scott does a long-form talk show that you can download and listen to it when you want to. That's the cool thing about this. This show is on demand. You can listen to it right now. You can listen to it in 30 minutes. You can listen to it when there's nothing on TV later on, during halftime of the football game tomorrow night. Whenever you want to listen to it, you can listen to it. That's the beauty of podcasts. They're on demand. I've got mugs. Who wants to see my mugs? You got to take me on a date first, baby. You can let me mug you with a Tony Scott Media mug. Go to unheardmedia.biz. My friend JP, who is a true friend, has mugs for sale over there, and you can buy one You can email JP. Her email address is on the site, unheardmedia.biz, and she'll give you a discount coupon. You can save you a couple bucks. How about that? Thank you so much. Love you all. Have a great day. I will talk to you tomorrow.